We're going to talk about solving inequalities. Remember, the process is exactly like solving equations. We're going to do distribute, combine, isolate, solve. Distribute, combine, isolate, solve. Remember that distribution is just multiplication. We're looking for those parentheses, right? And so we're multiplying all the way through. Don't drop signs, and don't forget to multiply, okay? Then we look for combining like terms, which is our adding and subtracting. Okay, and on this distribute and combining, we do the left side and then we do the right side. They're separate. We treat them as separate things, okay? Then we get to this isolation. This is where we do zero pairs. This is moving across the equal sign. Okay, before now, you can't move across. Distribute and combine, left side, then right side, left side, then right side. Once you get to isolation, that's where you're moving across. You want the constants on one side and you want the variables on the other side. You have to use zero pairs to make that happen. And then when we solve, this is dividing by the coefficient. Sorry, my marker doesn't seem to want to write on my screen right now. Okay, so we want to get that coefficient to 1. Okay, so let's go through this. So we first look for distribution, just like equations. Anytime you see a number right next to those parentheses, I have to distribute. And it's only the parts that's attached directly to the parentheses. Notice negative 5p has nothing to do with this. So he just drops straight down and waits. Okay, I'm going to do the 3 times p gives me 3p. Okay, and if you need to tell yourself times every single time, right? Then I have to do the 3 times the negative 3. Don't forget that second term. So 3 times negative 3 is going to be negative 9. All right, I've done my distribution. I brought down negative 5p. I'm going to bring my symbol down, and then I look on the right side, right? So we go left side and then right side, not across, not across. All right, so I look at negative 3p minus 6. There's no parentheses. I don't have to distribute. So I'm just going to bring that whole side down exactly how it is. I have finished distribution. Okay, now I look at adding and subtracting, which is my combining like terms. Left side and then the right side, not across. Okay, so on the left side, I see I have 3p and I have negative 5p. Variables go with variables, constants with constants. So I'm going to put 3 and negative 5 together. That's going to give me negative 2p. And then I'm going to bring down that negative 9. Keep my symbol. Then I look on the right side. Negative 3p minus 6. There's no like terms. One has a variable, one does not. So I'm just going to write it down. Okay, I've done my combining like terms. Now we're going to go into isolation. This is where I start to move. I should not have crossed my border, my symbol, until this point. And you do that with zero pairs, right? So I have this negative 9. I want to zero it out in order to move it. I don't do negative 9 and negative 6 together. That will be wrong, okay? You can't just go across the boundary. You have to zero out pairs, okay? So I know that negative 9 and 9 would be 0. I'm going to add the 9 to the constant on the other side. Like terms go with like terms, constants with constants, variables with variables. So I have negative 2p is greater than negative 3p because nothing is added to it. And then negative 6 plus 9 is going to be positive 3. Okay, I'm not done yet because I have variables and constants still on that right side. I'm going to zero out. Remember, we don't just combine negative 3p and negative 2p. That would be wrong every time. You have to zero it out so it doesn't exist on that other side anymore. Okay, so then I get plus 3p. And then I'm going to have positive 1p on the right is greater than positive 3. So I isolated variables on one side, constants are on the other. Okay, and then you solve by dividing by the coefficient to make it 1. Well, my coefficient's already 1, So I have my solution. Okay, on a number line, what this means is that I would start at 3. It's an open circle because it's less than, and it's, sorry, not less than, it's greater than, it's not or equal to, and it's greater than always points to the right on our number line. So that's what my solution set would look like. That's solving inequalities, okay? All right, but there's a huge beware in this process. You need to write this down. If you divide by a negative coefficient, negative coefficient, negative coefficient, the number attached to your variable, okay? Flip the symbol. And we're going to go through this the right way and the wrong way so that you understand what this is. So we look for distribution. So we're going to split your page in half. We're going to do the same problem twice so you can verify wrong versus right. Okay, so we distribute, which is multiplication. We combine, which is add or subtract. Remember, these first two, it's left, then right, left, then right. Then we isolate with our 0 pairs. And then we solve, and we're going to watch for the negative coefficient, right? So I look on the left, nothing to distribute. I look on the right, nothing to distribute. Okay, we're done with distribution. Okay, combining like terms. I look on the left, nothing to combine. It's just a 3, nothing's there. I look on the right. Oh, I have negative 5n and 2n. Okay, let's put those together. And negative 5 plus 2 is going to be negative 3n. Okay, we've combined. Now we're going to look at isolating. Okay, I have variables on one side, I have constants on the other. Sweet, already done. I'm loving this problem, right? And now we have to solve, okay? And we always divide by that coefficient. The coefficient is the number attached to the variable. So I divide both sides by negative 3. And I have what negative 1 is less than positive 1n. And at this point, I would celebrate. I'm like, yes, I'm a rock star, right? And I would draw my number line, and I'm like, look, if I'm at negative 1, I'm going to be open because it's not or equal to, and I'm pointing to the left because it's less than. Wait, but then I caught myself because I was like, wait, that's not right, okay? Because this actually reads n is greater than negative 1, so I'm actually saying n is greater than 1. Did you see that catch? It's really easy for people to just look at that negative, that symbol, and just think that's my answer. Make sure you read it correctly. That's a huge part of this. Okay, so we're celebrating. We're like, yes, I'm a rock star. And then Miss Valente comes and crashes our dreams and our hopes because she said, hey, where's your check? Prove it. Okay, Miss Valente, let's go. So we say 3 is less than negative 5n plus 2n. All right, so I go through my whole process. No distribution, but I can combine these like terms. So I'm going to have negative 3n, and then I divide, sorry, whoops, I'm crazy right now. I don't want to go through and solve it. I want to check my work. Okay, so 3 less than negative 5n. You always start with the original. And now we're going to pick a solution that's inside this solution set. So anything that's greater than negative 1. I could pick 0. I could pick 200, but it's my check. I want to pick something small, right? So I'm going to pick 0. So anywhere I have n, I'm going to substitute a 0 because this is how I check my work, right? So I have 3 is less than 0 because negative 5 times 0 is 0 plus 2 times 0 is 0. So 3 is less than 0. Wait, 3 is less than 0? Is that even right? That's a false statement. That is how I know, oh no, something happened in my work. I am wrong. Okay, so this is what we actually should have done. So we have 3 is less than negative 5n plus 2n. There's no distribution, but we know we can combine those like terms. So we have 3 is less than negative 3n. Okay, and then this is the part where now you have to have alarm, alarm, alarm. I have a negative coefficient. And when we know that, we say negative flips. Negative flips. Beware, beware. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my symbol so I don't forget. And then I'm going to do my division to get to a positive coefficient. So I get -1 is greater than positive n. This is now saying n is less than -1, right? So on my number line now, I start at -1. It's still open, but now I'm saying I'm less than. So all my solutions are anything that's on the left side of that number line. Okay, that's what we hypothesize. But remember, before we get too excited, Ms. Valente says, check the work. Okay, so I'm going to have 3 is less than -5n plus 2n. And then I pick anything that's in this solution set over here. Let's just do -2, right? -2 is less than -1. So everywhere n is now, I'm going to pick -2. Okay, so I have 3 is less than positive, oh, that should be a 5, sorry. 5 times -2 is positive 10. 2 times -2 is -4. 3 is less than 6. Is 3 less than 6? Yes, true. So now I know that I'm right and I needed to flip my symbol. Okay, that's why it's really important, otherwise you'll be wrong. Flip the symbol, flip the symbol. Let's try one more together. Here we go. Don't be scared of the fractions. Okay, all fractions mean numerator is what you multiply by. The denominator is what you divide by. Okay, so 3/4 tells me multiply by 3 and divide by 4. That's what it's telling me. Okay, so same process. Here we go. I look for distribution. As soon as I see those parentheses, yep, I'm going to make sure my brain is clear on what needs to be distributed. So I'm taking 3/4 times each piece inside. So 3/4 times -12. Guys, if you need a calculator, use it. 3/4 times -12. Or I can say -12 times 3 is -36. Divided by 4 is -9x. Okay, multiply by the numerator, divide by the denominator. Here we go. 3/4 times +4. 4 times 3 is 12. Divided by 4 is 3. Okay, so I have +3 is greater than or equal to. I have parentheses on the right side, so I'm going to distribute. Notice I'm not crossing the symbol. Left side, then right side. Okay, so I have 2/3, a fraction again, times 6x. 6 times 2 is 12, divided by 3, that gives me 4x. 2/3 of 30. 30 times 2 is 60, divided by 3 is 20. And then I just have +9 at the end. Don't multiply him, don't do anything except bring him down. Distribution complete. All right, now we look for combining. On the left side, there's not like terms, so I'm just going to bring all of that down. On the right side, I have 20 and I have 9. Those are both constants. 4x comes down. 20 plus 9 is 29. Combining. Done. All right, we're rocking and rolling. Let's keep going. Okay, so now we're on isolation. Now we're moving. I want to zero out at this point because now we're going to move things over. -3 zeros out. Take it away from the constant on the other side. So I end up with -9x is greater than or equal to 4x plus 26. Okay, we're not done yet because right here we have a variable and a constant. So let's zero out the variable to move it to the variables on the other side. Okay, so -9 minus 4 is -13x. Use your calculator and double check that math, guys. This zeroes out, so we're left with 26 on that side. Isolation done because variables are on one side, constants are on the other. All right, now, oh, alarm, alarm, alarm. Negative coefficient flips. So I'm going to flip my symbol. I'm going to divide by -13 on both sides. Mind the sign, right, with the whole thing. I end up with x is less than or equal to -2. Okay, make sure you flip, watch your math. Use your calculator to double check. You got this.